Hey Martin.
Hey Jojo, how's it going?
It's good. We got a good one today. This will be a short intro, but we have an interview with a rising star in the NorCal slash Nevada scene, Matt Zupan. And
I know
so,
our first interview. It's
first
exciting.
interview, very exciting. And yeah, we want to hear from you. If there's people in the NorCal scene that you want to hear more from, we can try and get them on for future episodes. And if you just have any questions that you want around training or areas where to go, where to run, leave them in the comments. We will take care of those on a future episode. And, we're going to be talking about training principles, Northern California racing news, stuff like that. But I think today we're just going to dive right into the interview that we have.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Awesome. Today is an exciting day. It was our first interview on NorCal Endurance. We're super stoked to have Matt Zupan on today to answer some questions, learn a little bit more about him and his running. And yeah, without further ado, I think we just jump right into it. What do you think?
Yeah, let's do it. We got Matt here, so might as well get started.
How's it going, Matt?
Oh, great. I'm excited to be here. This is great.
We're super stoked to have you and really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Where are you joining us from today?
I am based out of Reno and I work at Mount Rose, a ski resort out of here. So this worked out perfectly because I'm taking a break from work, getting to talk some running. Ideal morning.
Awesome. So are you originally from Reno or
Good question. No, I grew up in Missouri and I went to school in LA, Los Angeles, and kind of hated Reno because I'd only driven through it once and I think it was smoky and thought it was gross. But moved up here after college to learn how to ski, and now I love it. I think Reno's the best.
did you fall in love with it when you were here skiing?
Yeah, pretty quickly. I just think it's a great spot and a great spot to run year round, and it's just quirky and cool. So
So how long you been in the Reno area now?
I was trying to think of that the other day. I think this is 7 years now, which is
Nice.
wild. Yeah.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Well, so as I mentioned, we're kind of focused on Northern California and we're considering Nevada as, Eastern California, like you said earlier. Um, you know, one question we kind of want to have a through thread with everyone is where's your favorite place to run in Northern California or Reno? And is there any other, if it's not the same place, are there places that fly under the radar that you think are just like really awesome?
I love this question. That's a banger to start. I there's so many. I got a couple though.
Yeah, well,
Anytime,
let's hear them. We want them
okay,
all.
coming down close to you, Jojo. I love anything out of Marin, especially like that whole like Matt Davis Trail area, Steep Ravine, like everything out of Stinson Beach. I think I go down there in the winter when I like get sick of the snow. So that place feels like Oh, it just feels like good reprieve from winter. Like every time I've been there, it's been like really restorative. So I love those trails, which sort of basic answer, but man, steep going up steep ravine just does something to my soul.
A lot of people share that answer, so
Yeah,
I
it's
think
so
it's
good.
totally
You're
fine.
you're just in paradise down there. But up here, my under the radar favorite is going up Peavine, which is like a mountain that's right outside Reno. I think it's at like 8 or 9 thousand feet, so it's not super huge, but it's pretty distinct on like the north end of Reno. You can see it from a lot of different places. You can sort of run it year round. It definitely gets some snow. I've skied it before, which is sick. But it's this like desert mountain. I think it kind of sums up the Reno experience because it looks kind of ugly from a distance, but then you fall in love with it and it gets really beautiful. And there are a lot of trails on it. And yeah, it's just a you wouldn't guess it's a good spot to run just looking at it from afar, but I've really fallen in love with going up Peavine.
Hell yeah, that's
Nice. Is that
awesome.
one of your go-to spots then when you're running down in Reno or
Yeah. And I mean, if you're low on Peavine, usually if it's not muddy, which the mud is horrendous sometimes, but if it's not muddy, you can pretty much run there year round. And that's been a godsend for winter training for me for sure.
Totally.
How big of a climb is that Peavine?
Oh man, if you go to the summit, it's like almost 3,000 feet of climbing, and
Whoa,
it's
dang.
there's some really punchy, steep sections, and it's a great. Oh, it's just a perfect little training run. You can get anything you want on Peavine. It's perfect.
You'll have to show me next time we're out
Dude,
there.
we should do it next time you come up here. It's like a rite of passage. Kind of miserable, kind of fun.
Yeah, especially if there's mud out there, huh?
Oh, the
Definitely
mud.
rite of
Peanut
passage.
butter mud can really kill your soul. Yeah.
That cakey
It's like
kind of
weight
volcanic
training,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
ankle weights on the feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds brutal. All right. Well, we want to go back to the start, the genesis of your running, trail running, or ultra running. So I heard about a little school project. I don't know if that was your first ultra, but
Oh, that's so funny.
I want you to tell us a little bit about that. If it wasn't your first ultra, I want to hear about the first ultra before that.
Dude, absolutely. That was the first ultra. This is a deep cut. That's a good pull. Um, but yeah, basically, I went to a really small school. We didn't have sports teams, and I was kind of like a chubby kid. So I'd like found running a little bit to start to get in shape in like I think it was eighth grade. But we had the school project where it was weird school. You had to spend 40 hours doing something related to like the period of history we were studying. And everyone like wrote a paper, did something boring, and there was the like legend of Pheidippides, the guy that started the marathon. The like the basic story of the legend is he ran from marathon to somewhere, which is like 26 miles, and then died. But really, he ran from before that, he had run from Athens to Sparta and then back, which ended up being like 140 miles. So kind of a legendary dude. And I grew up in Missouri and there was an Athens and Sparta, Illinois. They were 140 miles apart. It's like, yeah, we're doing that. So over 2 days, two separate days, did that. Me and my parents just come drive alongside me. I'd never run more than 20 miles, dude. It was a disaster. Lots of walking.
Wait. You ran how long was this run?
It was like 2 70-mile days.
270-mile
Yeah.
days.
And your
And
longest run had
and
been 20 before
longest run
that.
had been 20 miles like a couple months before. And I had died on that 20-mile run. I didn't take any food. It was around like Columbus, Ohio for Thanksgiving. Just
And your parents signed off on this. They're like,
yeah,
"Yeah,
they were
we'll
totally
come
cool
for
with it.
you."
Yeah. Yeah. Ate a lot of Arby's. I remember eating at a lot of Arby's. This is kind of all I remember. I knew nothing, dude. Nothing about nutrition, nothing about training. I think I had read Born to Run that year and was like, yeah, I can do this. It'll be fine.
And so, what did your class think when they heard
You
about
know,
this?
the disappointing thing is the big takeaway from that year was I have a twin sister and she built a chariot like out of wood or whatever. And everyone was like, huh, she's a lot smarter than you. She built something so that can get around. And so that ended up being the through line. No one was that impressed. They were just thought my twin was smarter than me. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's accurate.
Well, I think that I can't imagine like ninth grade. I was like I couldn't imagine running. I think 5 miles was like crazy long distance for running at football or whatever. Uh, did did you? Well, how long was it till the next crazy
Oh,
run? The crazy long
that's a
run.
good question too. I think from there I got more into triathlons. So I
Okay.
did a couple like Ironmans throughout high school and college, and I didn't really do anything longer. I think I did a 50-mile race in college once I'd kind of started moving back into running from triathlons, and then did Javelina the year I graduated from college. And same sort of vibe. Didn't really know anything about training. I was like, I should do 100 just to seems like something to do. So drove out to the desert and just
Was
did
there
Javelina
was
solo.
there something that like drew you away from triathlon into trail running? It feels like those two can be two distinct kind of groups of folks, but yeah.
Absolutely. It's definitely, I mean, triathletes are so type A. There's a lot of money in it, and you gotta just be on it, I think. And I'm really not that type of person. I'm super type B. I like training by feel a lot. I like the adventure aspect of training a lot, and that just fit way more naturally with trail running than biking for 5 hours on the road every day. That just wasn't filling my soul up the way rambling in the mountains was, I think.
And how did you come across ultra running in general? Because I mean,
Ooh.
I had no idea for so long.
Oh, dude,
But
this is such a basic answer again, but it's Born to Run for sure. Reading Born to Run
okay,
in like
okay,
eighth grade was like, oh, this is cool.
awesome.
I
And
should go run
you
in
weren't
Canyon.
totally turned off by that 140-mile run across.
No, shockingly, seeing the worst parts of Illinois did not crush my desire to run.
Yeah, that's impressive and good for you. But obviously you were drawn to endurance sports
Yeah.
and then getting into the ultra world. So you did Javelina. That was your first kind of like big race. And then kind of what was the did you move to Reno right after like kind of soon after college, you said,
Yeah,
to
that
learn
was
how to
probably
ski?
the year I did Javelina and then moved to Reno like 2 months later, probably. Yeah. Then I really don't think I started racing seriously or training seriously until then. So that was 2018 Javelina and moved to Reno same year. And then started racing seriously not till maybe 2022. I had like back surgery after a ski accident in 2022, and that recovering from that made me realize that like, oh, I really like running, and I should like if it's something I want to do seriously, I should start training seriously instead of just going out when I feel like it.
Yeah. What was the, I don't know, being, yeah, back surgery, what was the kind of, what happened? And like kind of, yeah, talk about like a little bit of the psychological recovery from that too. Because I feel like being
Yeah.
laid up like that can have a big, can be challenging.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think the injury was like pretty not that interesting, sadly. I just crashed on skis and herniated a disc. It did form this like weird rare cyst, so I had to have surgery on it instead of letting it heal. Um, and then I think you just realize like when you can't do what you love, how much you love something. And so I that really crystallized how big a part of my life running was, not being able to run for 2 months, 3 months. It's like, wow, I really this is something I need to do. And from there it was a natural leap of, oh, if I love this so much, I should start like taking it more seriously than I do if it really means this much to me.
Totally. What do you feel like your big, like, maybe comeback race was then, kind of when you got back into it, we're training seriously?
Oh, that's a great question. I so coming off that surgery, maybe a little too soon. It was like 4 months after the surgery. I did the first Mammoth Trail Fest, the 50K, and it went okay for a bit. I kind of faded at the end, but that was I was like, oh yeah, that kind of got me restoked into training hard. So
Nice.
Seems like you're having a bit of a year. I will call it a breakout. So I was looking at it. You won the inaugural years of Mountain Tiger Thunder Summit, the Tahoe 50K, Tahoe Trail 50K, win at Silver State Half Marathon, Formidable Half Marathon, uh, the Peavine Peak Hill Climb most recently, and then looks like a smattering of FKTs, El Cap, Tuolumne Alpine Grand Slam, Sierra Buttes. The list, it's a long list of accomplishments this year. I was wondering, is there anything or a few things that you can pin the success this year on?
thanks, dude. I started working with a coach like last winter. I don't know if you know him. His name, he's like kind of a Bay Area legend, JoJo. He's super fast guy. Uh, but I think that's helped me a lot, honestly. You just got me on like a lifting program and I hadn't been lifting at all. And I really think that's made a huge difference. And just having someone to like bounce ideas with off of Jojo, you and I went on a run honestly in April. I was like going through a breakup. It was a real low for me in life in general, and I hadn't been running much over the winter. And we did a double dipsy into a Mount Tam day, I think, on like some hot Bay Area spring day. And I died on Tam, but that like really jump started my fitness into summer. Like I think without that run, my summer looks a lot different, honestly. So I think those things have just helped a ton. Like as I like progress slowly each year, that's been a big point of learning.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, with endurance stuff, it just takes time and year over year you can really progress. And yeah, I didn't realize that, you had really just kind of started training seriously in 2022. So yeah, I mean, it
Like
seems like
I say that I'd run a lot before that, but never. I don't know. I think I could be super wrong about this. In my ideal world, coming into trail racing, I think the best possible thing you could do is start with a really fast base, like run high school, college, have a fast 8K or whatever, and then slowly build a distance. And I think I did the opposite, where I just had a lot of distance, a lot of adventure runs. But I was pretty slow. Like when I run mile repeats, they're not fast. When I run a 5K, it's not fast. So I think working on speed specifically since 2022, it's hard for me. It's not something I necessarily look forward to, but I think upping that speed a little bit has helped where the like long stuff has always been something I enjoy.
Definitely. It feels like too, I don't know, in JoJo listing your kind of highlights of your year, and I'd love to hear what your highlights have been. But also it seems like you've got kind of you're drawn to kind of a different kind of a range of distances in terms of your racing, and it doesn't seem like you're kind of pigeonholing yourself as an ultra guy or a short distance guy. I don't know, what are you drawn to a specific distance or type of event?
That's such a good question too. I'm always so torn on this. I because like for example, the mountain tiger race up here, Martin, I think did you run that, Martin? I
I
think
I did. I think that's where we
yeah.
had met, and I do have a follow-up
Yeah.
question about Mountain Tiger, but I'll let you
Okay.
go for now. Yeah.
But that was like this sick race up here. It was great vibes. It was like a half plus distance. And the Peavine Hill climb, which just happened on Peavine, which I love, and was hosted by my friend Darren. It's his second year doing that. So I love the vibe of those like local short races where you're just like pushing from the gun. But I think I don't know. I think I'm still most drawn to figuring out the 100-mile puzzle. I just think that's such a ugh, brutally painful journey that when it goes right though it just feels so good, and like I think I have yet to have a perfect 100 where I feel like I really nailed it. So I think I'm that'll always be I'm always questing after that. But
Very
man,
cool.
the short races have been fun this year.
Totally. And Mountain Tiger was a super fun kind of local
Iconic, or yeah,
race.
first year
Such a
already
cool
iconic.
course.
Yeah.
They also had free tattoos at the end
Yep.
for
Yep.
participants. Did you partake, Matt?
I did, and I now have a matching tattoo. You could pick from this like flash sheet of 10 tattoos. So I have a matching tattoo with 10 or 20 people up here in Truckee, which is great. Did you get one?
I did not. Was it your first
Okay.
tattoo?
It was my first tattoo, first and only
Oh,
so far, and I love
okay.
it. I've gotten so many compliments. So that race was just awesome in so many ways.
is it a tiger? What's the tattoo of?
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's a little basic. It's like 4 or 5 mountains with the sunrise coming up behind them.
Hell yeah.
Nothing, nothing that edgy, but it's cool. I like it.
As someone who has a few mountain tattoos, yeah, I know hate here.
Yeah.
Shame.
So so figuring out the 100-mile puzzle though, did you do a 100-miler this year?
I tried. I
Yeah.
didn't finish. Yeah.
So what's on the horizon for next year then, or for down the road in
Totally.
terms of that field?
I dropped out of Run Rabbit Run this year, which was tough. That was like my A race, and it just kind of fell apart. So I'm like trying to learn lessons from that right now. And next year I'm doing Leadville, hopefully with JoJo. Um, Hopefully we'll be racing together there. So that'll be really fun to try and fix what went wrong at Run Rabbit and go back to altitude and have a better race.
Jojo, any thoughts on Leadville, or we can talk about that at another time for sure.
I mean, lots of thoughts on Leadville. You know, it's kind of an iconic race in the ultra scene, and it's been getting some recent hype with the fast times that have been going down there, and so yeah, it's I think from a just stats perspective, it's not like the craziest ultra, but it plays, I think, a little different because of that altitude and that it's above 10,000 feet. And I know personally, above 10,000 feet is like where I truly struggle with, altitude and can really just be suffocating at times. So you, ultras are so interesting because, you compare it to like a 5K, 10K thing, where it's like, well, you can race that most places and it doesn't play that different, but 100 miles in Ouray versus Leadville versus, Javelina, they all can be very different. So they all present very different challenges. Yeah, I guess, maybe thinking from your like most recent 100 miler to Leadville, how is there anything you see as that you can take from this last 100 and things that you're just gonna have to think very differently about?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think overall the Run Rabbit went up to 10,000, so it doesn't get as high as level, but it's still like got altitude in it. And I think training for altitude went well with like spending time in the mountains out here and then doing a little bit of heat training, trying to have like consistent heat training, which it seems like has some sort of benefit at altitude. Uh, who knows how much, but it seems like it helps a little. So I think I'll continue that, and I was happy with how I felt at altitude. I think figuring out for Leadville specifically how to separate, like I'm trying to separate more my hydration and my carb intake, excuse me, and then figure out carb intake once gels, like once I start struggling to take down gels, like figuring out more solid food that maybe I could use at Leadville would help. So that's a pretty specific lesson, but something I'm trying to learn. Not to derail us, but JoJo just crushed Kodiak 100 top 10, and I'm just curious how altitude felt there because you didn't. It's kind of high, 7,000 maybe, and you were coming from the Bay. So how?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I spent, the summer at altitude and then
Yeah,
was back in San Francisco for a month. Like you were saying, I tried to incorporate heat, but it was like really like maybe once or twice a week, which doesn't feel like a ton, but maybe enough to keep a little acclimation. And I know for me, and there's general guidance around like, okay, if you're gonna go up to altitude, you either need to have like 2 weeks of time up there, or you go like the night before or the morning of. And I know for me, like I can struggle that first day or two. And this time it was a little different. It was like the first 2 days that I was up there, great. I felt awesome. I was like, oh, I'm gonna crush this. And then that day that actually the race was, the third day I was there, and it probably was due to a big pack that we had to wear due to the activation of the cold weather kit. But then
dude,
I
screw
was
that
like,
pack. It's
uh,
brutal.
I, uh, I definitely felt the altitude,
Yeah,
and yeah, I struggled for sure at the first part of it, and then altitude plus heat can be a challenge,
yeah,
and but then once it kind of cooled down, yeah, I can't really remember being like, dang, this altitude. And we got up to about 10,000 feet, but we just touched it and then came back down. And so, yeah, I would say that in general, yeah, it wasn't terrible, but like above 10,000 feet, that, jury's out for how that would have felt.
yeah,
Um, but you're super close to, some high peaks, and yeah, so you can get up there and hopefully get a little bit of time at altitude. I
yeah.
know I know you bested a one Justin Grunwald who lives out there, so when you qualified for Leadville, so hopefully you can get out and hang out at altitude beforehand.
Yeah, that's the goal, man. Maybe we get a little Airbnb at Colorado or something for a couple weeks together.
That would be sweet.
And you can
Um,
certainly get some good heat training in Reno during the summer
Oh
too.
my God,
So yeah.
no kidding, dude. Yeah. Oh, oof,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you handle
so
that
it's,
stuff in the summer? Like, do you feel like you do well in the heat, or coming from
Depends on
Missouri? I
the
mean, you
day.
must have had some
I
hot summers, but you
totally
weren't a runner, so yeah.
humid Missouri runs will crush your soul. But I kind of like running. I ran in the heat a bunch in Reno this year, and it's hard and miserable. But I kind of like the like Sufferfest aspect of it, of just getting out for an hour, take the shirt off, and run in 100-degree Reno heat. I had fun with that this year. So
Um, well, so Leadville, that's like basically a year away,
mhm.
maybe 10 months, something like that. Is there anything you've got your eye on in between now and then?
Dude, you can make fun of this. Thanksgiving Day turkey trot in Columbus, Ohio. My grandparents used to live in Columbus. My dad grew up there. And my grandma passed away maybe a month ago at this point. So she'd been declining for a while, super sad, but we had kind of already said goodbye. But this will probably be the last time we go up to Columbus for Thanksgiving, because we don't really have any ties there anymore. So
Yeah.
I think I've done this turkey trot now 6 years, and it's a 5 miler, and it's just
Okay.
funny to watch like how my times have changed over the year. As like when I ran for 1 year in college. So the year I ran it when I was running in college, I ran pretty well. And then I beat that time from college maybe 2 years ago now, and I was like over the moon because I just like it felt so cool to be able to like run something that for me felt fast. So I've felt my training has not been good kind of coming off Run Rabbit, so I've really got to kick it into gear. I've got like a 4 week block before the turkey trot, and I want to go out with a bang in the Columbus turkey trot.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah.
love
I love the phrase I've got a 4 week block before the turkey trot. So
It's not much. It's not much, but we're gonna wring everything we can out of that.
yeah, it's speed time for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
So speaking of high altitude stuff, I know that you recently got to spend some time on the trails with I'm not sure if I know how to pronounce the name. Is it Killian Jornet? Something
Mhm.
like that. So how did that come about? And you have any fun stories from your time with Killian?
Oh man, that was like probably the highlight of my year. It was again coming off like feeling like I had kind of failed at Run Rabbit, and Killian's team reached out because he was doing Norman's 13, which is this link up. He was doing this big project in the US, basically by foot or by bike, climbing every 14er in the US, which there's some in Colorado, some in California, and one in Washington. And I had done a while ago now this link up of the all the Sierra Nevada 14ers. And he was doing that after biking across from Colorado to California. He biked for 5 days and then launched right into that. And since the whole project they were incorporating, local athletes, they reached out and asked if I wanted to join for any of it. And I was like, is this a phishing scam? And then yeah, I definitely want to join. So it was me, Killian, and Rod Farvar just going up Mount Langley, which is the start of this route. And it was just like the coolest day ever. Um, I do think I stayed behind Killian the whole time. I was like, I am not getting in front of the goat, but I'm just gonna ask him like what he's been eating, what podcast he's been listening to. So it was really chill. Everyone says this, but so humble, so nice, like so low key about everything he's been doing. It was just the craziest, coolest guy. I do think he farted in my face at one point going up Langley, and I'll never forget that. That was
What
that.
an honor.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, it was great. But just a really like such a cool experience and like such an insane thing that he did. He on the Normans route through snow and coming off like a bike beat everyone's time by like I think it was like 16 hours or something. He just like shattered the existing times on tired legs in bad conditions, which
Oh
was
my gosh.
unbelievable. Yeah.
And I'm guessing some of those peaks are fairly technical.
Yeah, it goes up to like a 5.9 climbing rating. So there's some like legit climbing towards the end of it, the way he did it, and he did that part in snow and made it look easy. So he's on another world.
Just doing wild things,
So
whatever
cool. Yeah.
excites the soul there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I heard he's just like taking in like olive oil for the
Yeah,
first time.
there was that video of
Parts
him
of it.
drinking olive oil. I asked him what he had for Norman's, and I like kind of saw him getting ready, and he just packed a bunch of sandwiches, which like just stuff like kind of unconventional, but really cool to see like how just steady he was moving through that like technical terrain. He's just so consistent.
No,
Very cool.
that's
Do you like that kind of technical running, or is that like
I
something?
do. That's
Yeah,
always going to be like what I love the most, I think, is solo adventures on in the mountains. I think is what really fires me up.
you talked about races, that you're excited for. I know you're a big FKT guy. Are there any FKTs that you're maybe excited to take a
Ooh,
shot at next year?
that's such a good question. What's on the list for next year?
And for people who don't know, FKT stand for fastest known times. And so it's more of like a collection of routes that people put on the fastestknowntime.com website. And yeah, it's kind of a record of people who have attempted those. And then if you best the previous time, your name goes atop the list for as long as no one has put their time up atop yours.
Yeah, I love FKTs. For a while, I was like, this is dumb because if like Jim Walmsley or someone fast came and ran any of these, he would shatter my time. And I kind of think I've evolved in my thinking, and I think that's not the point. It's like to enjoy. Obviously, there's always someone that can go faster than you, but it's like you enjoy this route or mountain or trail that you know really well and feel really like intimately close to, like you know every step of it. You express that intimacy through going fast, and it like inspires other people to come out and try that trail and go faster. So I always feel a little self-conscious when I do an FKT because I'm like, I'm not saying I'm the fastest person that can do this route, but just that I like this route and like going fast on it. I don't know if that makes sense. But I kind of
Totally.
JoJo through FKTs, and I just think they're a cool like community thing, and it's a cool way to like have fun in the mountains. Anyway, that's a tangent. I on anything next year. I've had fun like just doing shorter single like couple hour pushes in the mountains. So like maybe a Mount Russell or a Mount Langley next year, California 14ers, like single, only one 14er at a time. I've had fun doing that this year. So maybe a couple more of those next year.
Very cool.
Nice. So you work at Mount Rose, you said. What's the winter going to be looking like for you in terms of training, in terms of work? What do you have going on?
Another great question. I am a ski patroller in the winter, which is like honestly decently physically demanding. So it's hard to stack big miles in the winter, but I think I like complain once a week to Jojo, and he has to calm me down like once a week. He's like, "It's okay, it's okay. You don't have to run 100-mile weeks in the winter." So last winter we worked a lot on speed in the winter and just lower mileage, working on speed, and I think that was great. Martin, I'm hoping to get out with you to Nordic ski. I picked up Nordic skiing last winter,
Well, you should
and
definitely get out if
yeah,
you
word
love
on the
it.
street is
Yeah,
you're pretty good at it. So I need some technique tips from you there. And I like going like just touring and going uphill on skis. I feel like is a good way for me to get some extra like aerobic fitness in the winter without it necessarily being running. So
nice. Yeah, I feel like we should definitely get out at yeah, maybe over at Nevada Nordic. That's close to you,
oh,
where
I
you
would
work,
love
and
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
get
would
out
love
and
that.
yeah, rip around on speaking of
Yeah.
elevation, on some 9,000-foot Nordic ski trails.
Nordic,
Yeah,
oh, nothing like tasting blood at 9,000 feet from yeah, hard Nordic efforts.
totally.
Well, I think that's all the questions that I had. Martin, is there anything else you wanted to add in or
I just want to ask Matt who you got there with you.
Oh, this is Kaz is my dog, and he's an avalanche dog at Mount Rose. So he came to work today, and he's my the most consistent training partner. He's the best.
ride or die?
Ride or die. Yeah, he's the goat.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, Matt, and super fun talking to you. And yeah, we'll be seeing you this winter and excited to
And
see
if
you on
anyone
the
is
road too.
free next August, I know Matt would be looking for a seasoned crew to help
Yeah,
at Leadville. I think you might have
100%.
had some issues with the unseasoned crew last 100, so we want to get
100.
him a good, yeah, experienced group that can help him reach that podium.
Amen. Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate the advice both of you have given me and how you've helped me the last couple of years. And it's kind of an honor. This is my first time ever being interviewed. Feels so cool.
I don't think it'll be the last.
What a treat.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Cool. Thank you
Take care,
guys.
Matt.
Cheers.